Once upon a time, deep in a vast and ancient jungle, where the trees grew so tall they touched the clouds, a little boy was lost. And what happened next, no one could have ever imagined. Welcome, dear friends. Today I want to share a very special story, one my own mother told me when I was a child. It is a story about love that knows no boundaries, about family, and about the bond between the most unlikely of companions. Settle in and let this story take you somewhere magical. In a small village nestled at the edge of the jungle, there lived a cheerful little boy, just 5 years old, with bright, curious eyes and a laugh that lit up every room. One afternoon, while his parents were busy, the boy wandered too far and got lost in the jungle. The trees were giant, the shadows were long, and the little boy, so small, so tiny, sat down beneath a great tree, frightened and alone.
He called for his mother.
He called for his father, but only the wind answered him. Then came a sound, heavy footsteps, slow and powerful. The leaves parted, and there stood the king of the jungle himself, a magnificent lion with a great golden mane and eyes like glowing embers. The lion looked down at the tiny child sitting in the dirt, and something happened inside his great heart. He did not roar, he did not growl, he simply stopped and stared. For this little boy was so small, so helpless, so alone, that even the mighty lion felt something he had never felt before. Sadness, and then a gentle, quiet kind of love. The lion gently picked up the boy in his mouth, careful as a mother cat, and carried him back to his den. From that day forward, the lion became the boy's protector, his guardian, his family. Every morning, the lion would go out and hunt, and every evening, he would bring back food for the boy. He kept him warm on cold nights. He watched over him when he slept. He walked beside him so no creature in the jungle would dare come near. Years passed. The little 5-year-old boy grew. He learned to run through the jungle, to read the stars at night, to speak the language of the wind. And through it all, the lion was always there, his fierce, gentle, loving guardian. One evening, as the sun melted into the horizon and painted the sky in shades of orange and gold, the boy, now older, tall and strong, turned to the lion and asked a question that had been living quietly in his heart for a long time. "Father, where did I come from? Did I always live here in the jungle with you? Do I have a family somewhere? A mother? A father? A home?" The lion was quiet for a long moment. His golden eyes looked far away into the trees. Then, slowly, he began to tell the boy the truth. The whole story of how he found him, tiny and alone, crying beneath the great tree all those years ago. "I found you when you were no bigger than my paw, little one. You were lost and frightened, and the jungle was no place for such a small heart. So I brought you home. I fed you. I kept you safe. And I loved you, as a father loves a son." The boy listened to every word, and when the lion finished, something stirred deep inside him, a longing, an ache, a curiosity about who he was and where he truly belonged. After many days of thinking, he came to the lion with his decision. "Father, I must go and search for my family. I do not know if I will find them, but I feel I must try. Will you give me your blessing?" The lion's heart trembled. This was the one moment he had quietly feared for years. "You do not need another family. Am I not enough? Is this jungle not your home? You are my father, and you always will be. Nothing will ever change that. but I carry a question inside me that only the road can answer.
Finally, with a heavy heart
But a proud spirit, the lion bowed his great mane and gave his permission.
Then go, my
Son, the jungle will remember you, and so will I. The boy set off on his journey, stepping out of the jungle and into the wide world beyond. He walked with courage, asking at every village he passed.
But what the boy did not know
Was that he was never truly alone. Silently, staying just out of sight, slipping through the tall grass, hiding behind rocky hills, watching from hilltops, the lion followed. Every step the boy took, the lion was there, watching, protecting, loving from a distance.
because that
Is what a father does. Even when he lets go, he never truly lets go. Village after village, the boy told his story. Some were astonished, a child raised by a lion. Some were afraid. But many were moved to tears by his courage and the love that shone in his eyes.
in each village,
He asked the same questions. Did anyone lose a child many years ago? A 5-year-old boy who wandered into the jungle and never came back? And somewhere, far ahead on the road, the answer was waiting for him, patient and full of love. After many days of walking and asking, of hoping and searching, the boy finally found what he was looking for. A village, a house, a mother who had never stopped crying, a father who had never stopped searching, a family who had been broken for 12 long years. When they saw him, tall, strong, alive, they could not believe their eyes. The mother ran to him first, pulling him into her arms and weeping so deeply that the whole village wept with her. That night, the village celebrated. There was music, there was food, there was laughter and tears all at once. The lost boy had come home. But far away, on a dark hillside, hidden in the shadows, 2 golden eyes watched the lit windows of the house. Watched. And was glad.
every single night after that,
The lion came. He would slip out of the jungle under cover of darkness and climb the hill behind the boy's home, just to watch, just to see that the light was on, that his boy was safe. He asked for nothing. He never knocked. He never called out. He simply watched, the way only a parent can watch, and then disappeared back into the trees before sunrise. One evening, the whole family gathered together and asked the question they had all been holding since the reunion. Tell us, where were you all these years? How did you survive?
the boy took a breath.
And then he told them everything about the great golden-maned lion who had found him crying beneath a tree when he was 5. How the lion had carried him gently to his den. How he hunted every day so the boy would never go hungry. A lion? A real lion? But how? Why did he not eat me? Because he loved me, Mama. From the very first moment, he loved me. And then, the family laughed when he came to the one thing that had ever bothered him. The room erupted with laughter. 12 years in the jungle, and the only complaint was the lion's scent. Outside, hidden behind the house, the lion heard every word. He heard the laughter. He heard the boy's voice, so happy, so alive. But then he heard the one thing, the smell, the laughter about his chest. The lion lowered his great head slowly, his ears folded back, and for the first time in his powerful life, the king of the jungle felt embarrassed, ashamed, hurt. He slipped away into the darkness before anyone could see him. Several days passed. The boy's heart kept pulling him back. He told his family he needed to go, to visit the lion, to see his first home one more time. And so he set off on the long journey back, until the trees grew tall around him and the familiar sounds of the jungle filled his ears. And there, in the golden light of the clearing, stood the lion. When their eyes met, joy rushed through them both like a river. The boy ran, the lion stepped forward, and for a long moment, they were simply together again.
They sat together and talked.
About the family, about the journey. Then the lion grew quiet, serious. My son, I have one favor to ask of you. Just one. Anything, Father. Whatever you ask, if it is within my power, I will do it.
I want you to take an arrow
And stab me in the chest.
The boy went pale.
He stepped back. What? No, I could never do that. Never. You are my father. I would never hurt you.
But the lion was calm.
Certain. He asked again and again. Finally, trembling, his hands shaking, his heart breaking, the boy did it.
He took the arrow.
He closed his eyes, and with a cry of grief, he struck the lion in the chest. The lion winced, but he did not roar.
Now, stay with me.
Stay until this wound heals completely. Care for me, as I once cared for you.
And the boy did.
Every day he hunted and brought food. Every night he sat beside the lion and cleaned the wound. He sang softly while the lion rested. It was the boy's turn to be the guardian. Day by day, the wound healed, and one morning, the lion rose to his full height, chest proud and healed, and called the boy over. Look, my son, the wound you made with the arrow, do you see it?
Yes, Father.
It has healed completely. The skin is whole again.
Yes.
The arrow wound has healed. But the wound you gave me with your words, when you told your family about my smell and they all laughed, that wound is still here.
An arrow pierces the body.
But words pierce something deeper, and they take much longer to heal. The boy knelt before the lion, took the lion's great paw in both his hands, and wept. Father, I am so sorry. I am so deeply, terribly sorry. Please forgive me. And then the lion, this great, fearless king of the jungle, began to cry. I forgive you, my son. I forgive you completely, because I love you. I have always loved you. You are my heart. That night, the boy made his decision. He would not leave again. He had found his birth family, and that was a gift. But this jungle, this lion, this love that had kept him alive, this was home.
Some families are made of blood,
And some are made of something stronger. The boy leaned against the lion's chest, that same chest with that same familiar smell, and closed his eyes. And this time, he smiled. And so ends the story of the lion and the lost boy. A story my mother told me, a story I now give to you. It teaches us that love can live in the most unexpected hearts, that letting go is sometimes the greatest act of love, that we can have more than one family, and that both can be real.
but most of all,
It teaches us to be careful with our words. A wound from an arrow heals, but a wound from a careless word stays. So tonight, think of your lion. Think of the one who fed you, protected you, stayed up worrying about you, and choose your words with love. Thank you, Mama, for this story, and thank you for watching.